What up, Lemonheads? Welcome to Vice City FC Season 2, Episode 15, brought to you by Lemon City Live. I'm your boy FunGus, and I'm joined over here by Xavi Guerrero, our soccer extraordinaire beat writer. How's it going, Xavi?
Good. Everything good, guys.
Yeah, hey, we're alive.
We survived Hard Rock Stadium.
Marked safe during Hard Rock during Copa America 2024 final.
Oh, we did it, man. If we can survive that, we can survive anything.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that was insane, man. So let's jump right into it. All right, we'll talk about the game and the tournament as a whole in a little bit, but I feel like we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't just talk about how crazy it was yesterday, the disorganization, and all the things that went wrong for CONMEBOL.
It was the Twilight Zone. I have coworkers
Yes.
that have nothing about soccer, and they were asking me and telling me, what happened? Were you there? What's going on? Because it's all over social media. So all the craziness, all the madness, everybody saw the worst part of of Miami, of the people here, and of the sport organization of CONMEBOL. So many black guys, so many bad things happened to diminish a wonderful game. Actually, a classic. I would say like an instant classic game. It was a great game.
It was a great game, and it's unfortunate that it took place on a day when all that other negative stuff was going on, because it took a lot of shine away from the game itself, But yeah, man, it was terrible, all that stuff that happened, and like I said, man, it's unfortunate. It makes us look bad, like you said. It's a black eye for not just our community, but for soccer in our community, for CONMEBOL. It just makes us look like we're not ready for 2026.
And that's a sight. That's one of the sites for the upcoming World Cup. And you tweeted it out
during semifinal.
And you tweeted out during the event, which was hilarious, that you put the most organized thing that they did was set up the stage for Shakira. They did that in 2 minutes. Everything that was fantastic. The way they did the stage and did everything. We're watching it, as it's happening. We're like, wow, that's the most organized that they've been. But what we also talked about, what was like the first step in the logistics breakdown and the security in regards to that. They had put out, you could see it in the Miami Herald. Yes. They had out, hey, you don't have a ticket, don't even show up. You're not getting in. And I mean, it's like they prophesized
into the parking lot.
So totally the opposite, right? Yeah. So what happened? The first line of the fence is none of those security people should have allowed anybody that did not have tickets. They should have shown them digital tickets, something to show that you do belong going into the parking lot. The outer perimeter, that streets before getting even into the stadium parking should have been the first step where you shut that down. Tickets, 4 people in the car. You got to show 4 tickets or your whatever. No, sorry, you can't. And they should have been police, on each section. That would have been the first line. What's the next thing? People are going to walk in. That's harder to control, but it will be a lot easier than having 6,000 cars get in that shouldn't be there. So and 4 people in each car. There was. How many times did we walk around and people were asking for tickets, right?
Every minute, yeah.
And we're, hey, do you guys know where to get tickets? No, we're like, no. You gotta see resale, whatever. We don't know.
Yeah.
But that should have been like a little bell, ding, 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 ding. Something's happening. Happening. Boy, did it happen.
Yeah, and the what's crazy is like the audacity of people that were there thinking that without a ticket, they were going to find a way in, and they did eventually. But I remember when we were at the gate to get in, at the media gate, there were a couple of people right next to because we were the first 2 at the door, at the gate. There were a couple of people next to us, and just some randos who were not media, and the one of the guys was like, "Oye, Papo, can you get me in with you?" And I'm like, "What the fuck do you think this is, bro? Like, get out of here! Like, how did you even get to this spot?"
No.
You know what I mean? Like that, it's the media entrance. How was he even at that door?
And you touched the media. The media, man, it was starting from there. It was organized. I remember the
Yeah,
first game. The first games going on. People in the different cities tweeting out and putting out pictures of how many people. There was too much credentials. Maybe there was no food. There was people didn't know where to go. And what happened to us? We got there. We thought with plenty of time, right? We were
yeah,
walking in the parking lot, doing our thing first earlier, and then we went with about 2 hours, a little bit more than 2 hours, over 2 hours, before the game. And what a mission! At the window, they had no clue, and they just gave us, like, at least me, they gave me just a little like sticker on
yeah.
the badge. And I asked the lady, because I found that weird. I was like, "Hey, is this all we need to get
Hmm.
in? Are you sure?" Yeah, yeah, that's it. Okay, okay. So what happened? We go and make that crazy line up against that fence, and
Yeah,
we're there, and all hell breaks loose. They're not letting anyone in. They what was it? They didn't have the bracelets that they were supposed to give us. So the
exactly.
guy's only letting the people in with those bracelets. So we have people
Yeah.
behind us pushing forward, and we're like, okay, so you have to move kind of to the side as a nice guy to let these
Hmm.
people get past you so they can get in, because they're colleagues and they need to go work it. It's not their fault that
Yeah.
it's so disorganized. So we're letting people in, but then what's happening? Other people are coming. We had two guys from Fox Sports. I don't know who those
Hmm.
guys were. Two huge guys. They came out and they went to get like another 15, 20 people to get back in. And I guess they were either
Yeah.
sponsors or big shots, or I don't know who they were.
I
Uh,
think those. I think those. The big guys were with the security detail for VIP people.
right.
And instead of,
And
and the problem was that in the VIP entrance there was another mob of people, and the
wow.
smallest mob was through in the media entrance.
Oh, so we were the least disorderly in that.
Yeah, of course we're, it's a gate for professionals, and
Right.
even, like, I'm sorry to
They
say, there
were
were a bunch
infiltrated.
of
They were
media,
infiltrated.
there were a bunch of media people there that were also like
How
mob
did they get?
mentality.
How did they get? I mean, we saw it during the game too, right?
Of
How
course, you
did these
saw the
people get
fanboys.
credentialed for the game, where we're in the media section, and they're not, they're just screaming and watching and yelling and going,
Hmm.
and we're like, I don't think I think that's media, because usually you try to be partial, you try to watch the game and
Yeah.
do your thing. Yeah, everybody knows that if you go for a team
Hmm.
nobody cares, but it was a little bit wild
It was
yesterday.
extra.
So we didn't know how, even that credentialing part, right? We and
Yeah.
in our section, people were trying to get through because they started seeing that people were going in. Supposedly it was 5 by 5.
Yeah.
Well, so those VIP, the planning for the VIP then was terrible, because those
Yeah.
guys went out, and when they came back in with those VIPs, they created. That's where everything happened,
Of
and that's
course.
and I got I got pissed, because
Yeah.
we're going up against the fence and they're pushing, and we turn around and it's the VIPs are coming in. I don't think it was them that was pushing, but I turned and I'm like, hey, stop freaking pushing, and I pushed
No.
back.
Yeah.
So
No, unfortunately, when they were trying to get those VIP people in, they had to push some people out of the way. And those big security detail guys, nobody's gonna be able to push them. So they made their way through there. They pushed all of us, and people got upset. And that's when the
they
mob
started
mentality
pushing.
spread
Yeah.
from the crowd to the media people, because media people were getting super pissed that they couldn't get in. Not only that, the security on the other side of the fence was not communicating in a good manner, that they were only letting people in with bracelets. Because as soon as I overheard that, I yelled it out loud, and then like three people said, "Oh, I have bracelets." And that's when I said, "All right, yo, feel free, go ahead in front of me, so you can get in." And that way there's less people where we are, and
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to say, "Yo, who has a bracelet, you can get in." And they were letting those people in little by little.
Yeah, yeah, that
But
that started letting the overflow in, but eventually
yeah.
we stood there. I mean, just walking the parking lot before, you're sweating like a pig. So,
Yeah.
but we stood there like at least a good 30, 40 minutes
Yeah.
with all this happening, and eventually we got in, and then a little bit after, because we
Hmm.
didn't just stay there. like we actually had to go up the 3 floors to get to our spot. They didn't let us into the elevator. That was closed. That was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit after that is when all the craziness, broke, because we had little instances.
Yeah.
People fainting, ladies fainting, people trying to get through, push back. We saw people running and getting brought down, but very not like when they opened, when they just said, I guess, screw it.
Yeah.
And they opened the gates, and it was terrible. And we saw that there was people that got left out even though they had tickets.
Yeah, because the stadium was already at capacity, and it's like a
Beyond
martial
capacity.
rule. Yeah, beyond capacity.
Because they're sitting on the stairs, right? There was people sitting on
Mm-hmm.
the stairs that we saw once where the police had to come
Yeah,
and try to move them, but move them to where? Move them to
exactly.
where? Because everybody was like sardines already. And
Yeah,
so, man, this is. I said it. It seemed like the Twilight Zone. This couldn't be. It's going to be real. This couldn't be. This couldn't be happening this way. But unfortunately, it did. And what
mm-hmm.
are the repercussions? What are and what are the lessons? The most important part, because thank God, I don't think there was any deaths reported or anything like that, because
No.
it could have
Oof. Can you
possibly happened
imagine?
with that. Yes,
Yeah,
and what we saw people going in through the vents, right, from
yeah.
video, and jokingly I said, man, we're gonna have people, paratrooping from the ceiling and coming down. This is what's going on here. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Never before seen. Um,
No,
in the years, and even when I was a little kid, that I used to go to events here in the Orange Bowl and all.
bro.
I
Not even at the Orange Bowl, and the Orange Bowl was kind of a shit show.
Yeah,
But
right.
it,
The Orange
but it
Bowl
was
was
a beautiful shit show. But still,
the most
not
beautiful.
even. Yeah, but not even at the Orange Bowl did that kind of thing happen, man.
This is history, and the wrong kind, right? The
Yeah.
made the wrong kind of history, and then you have a great game starting out, and you put it. The halftime show was supposedly 25 minutes, right? But before it even started, it took a little bit. They did a great thing building the stage kind of fast, but before
Yeah.
Shakira came, it was at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes already after the half had started. So, and then I don't know,
Hmm.
remember how she sang. So it looked like the players came out, it affected the players too, and kind of affected the game. But then it was a classic game. Yes,
It was.
it was crazy. I don't know what else to say other than what has been said by most people. But nobody's accepted responsibility. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
The treatment of the people, the Coleman Bowl, they're running this. They look like this was a tournament that they said, oh, we've done this before, and they didn't pay attention to any of the details, right? It doesn't
No,
look like anything was organized to the T.
bro. It looks like they couldn't organize a quinceañera, bro. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
no, the
it's that
quinceañera.
bad. It's
No,
that
no.
bad.
I believe you, man. I believe you, and it's very sad. It's very
Yeah.
sad to see that, because you expect the organization, one of the best football places. The whole Americas, it has a black guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is South America, but there's a black guy. The world saw this. These videos are all over. I think that these
Everywhere.
videos are out in space too. The signals are out there, and aliens are laughing at us. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy the things we saw, and then it shows you the people like with this mentality. They're out there. They walk among us. See,
Hmm.
like you said, someone just showed up, knowing that tickets to get to this thing were like $1,000 cheap. Okay, maybe they thought, at the game I can get it for 500, 400, to whatever they thought, but
Yeah.
it was just, let's go. And then once this wasn't happening, people wanted to force their way through. You saw videos of people climbing over. You saw videos
Yeah.
of people putting those separators as a fence. I mean, what didn't you see? I'm speechless. I
I know.
cannot believe that, and I'm so glad we made it. I'm so glad we made it, because it might
Yeah.
be, you think you're exaggerating, but I mean, these people are pushing, and things could have gotten ugly too. I could have started a fist fight there in the thing. Once I got mad because I pushed, I don't know, I feel bad. I'm sorry, whoever that was that I pushed, and I
Yeah.
said, I pushed them back towards, to that crowd of people that was coming
Hmm.
our way, because you just lose your cool after,
Yeah.
and literally you lose your cool, because I remember tweeting out, I probably lost like 10 pounds of sweat
Oh, for
10,
sure.
15 pounds of sweat, and you're sweaty, and now everybody's all tied together. You're muggy and you're upset, and
Yeah.
man, thank goodness the game lived up, to the hype the South American way, because people criticize the game too, the amount of
Hmm.
hits and things like that. But we'll get into that breakdown, now. But it was a beautiful final. It was a final where
Hmm.
one mistake was gonna do it,
Yeah.
and that's the way it ended. That's the way it ended.
Yeah. And all right, so let's get into the game now, right? So yeah, beautiful game. Like you said, one mistake ended up being the decision making, the factor of the game. But what I loved is that Colombia played beautiful the whole tournament, and they continue to play well, even in this game. They created the most chances, but unfortunately, none of those chances showed fruit for them.
Yeah, the
But
first half, especially, right? The first half, especially.
especially in the first half, yeah. Pretty much up until Messi got injured. That injury for Messi, when he had to get subbed out in the 66th minute, it kind of like forced the Argentina players to wake up, right? I don't know if it's, we see our captain, our best player, our leader getting injured, it kind of forces me to wake up, or if it's like, all right, now we don't have Messi, we have to go with our plan B strategy, and maybe that's what worked out for them. I don't know what it was. You can touch a little bit more on that,
It seems
but
like a sacrilege, but when Messi came out, they started playing better, and they were more
mhm.
dangerous. The dynamics, the speed. You could tell he wasn't 100%. He wasn't
And he
100%.
hasn't been 100% the whole
He
tournament.
hasn't been for a while. He hasn't been
Mhm.
the tournament, and especially in this game, it was noticeable. It was
Mhm.
important, and it's unfortunate he got hurt again, because even, let me tell you, even the Colombian crowd, they were worried when he was down, because
Of course.
everybody loves Messi. Everybody loves Messi, and
Yeah.
and and you want to beat them with, the best player, which
Mhm.
he's injured. He wasn't the best player, but the dynamics changed. Well, the first half, Colombia had several opportunities, but what you said was, they had chances, but that's the difference between these elite teams like
Yeah.
Argentina, teams that have won multiple championships, have won everything. What's the difference is they have these people that will finish. You have to
Mhm.
finish the deal. And Colombia wasn't able to finish the deal. And even late in the game, they had a breakaway. Borja had an opportunity, and the center backs just closed them out, and didn't give him the chance to get a clean shot. That if he
Yeah.
would have had a shot, he probably would have scored. In both ways, though, because Argentina created maybe less opportunities, but they seemed a lot clearer.
Yeah.
They seemed a lot clearer.
There was that one shot that Messi took that ricocheted off of
His own
his
player
own teammate.
early in the first half.
Yeah, and if
That
and
would have
if
started it.
that would have been a goal if it wasn't for that,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
And there
and
were
and
other opportunities too that
yeah, no,
Argentina
there were
created,
several.
but definitely Colombia had more.
Yeah, I think they played. This is a learning, again, a learning, and it seems,
Mhm.
I'm already tired of always coming close. But 23. The last
Yeah.
time was 23 years ago. So if you look at a lot of the Colombian media right now, they're they're divided. Some of them, but
Mhm.
most are saying, hey, we appreciate, which everybody does, because this is the first time where the tournament where they look like the best team. They played great from the beginning. Even in the final, they had a really, really good game. But the point is, hey, when are you gonna finish? When are you gonna finish the deal?
Yeah.
Because this last time was 23 years ago. We don't. There's no guarantee you're coming back soon or anything like that.
Mhm.
You're not Brazil. You're not Argentina. Even Brazil, a weak Brazil, you think they might be able to fix the situation sooner.
Yeah.
So it was this is, unfortunately, for Colombia. This seems to be like the generation of Argentina, that, like, this is really the golden generation, because they're winning at a rate that's unheard of, and they're
Yeah.
winning everything. That is amazing at an international level. So you have to, tilt your head and say, wow, you lost against a all-time probably team where Messi is not at the top of his game. If he
Yeah.
was at the top of his game, then there's slights out for everybody. So, but what happened in the first half? The crowd. Let's start with the crowd. The crowd, it looked mostly Colombia. It was a
Oh
sea of
yeah,
yellow. It was a sea of
it
yellow.
was at least 65% Colombia, at
a,
least.
a sea of yellow, but you
Yeah,
have to give it to the Argentine fans because they are they are together. Once they start, everybody starts
yeah,
the chants, and they have some awesome chants,
they do.
and they have the great passion that everybody knows that already. The great
Yeah,
passion. So that gets and I had tweeted at the end of the game because after they won, where the players got close and they're celebrating. There's a strong connection. There's a
yeah,
great connection between the fans and the players, and you feel that energy that flows within them, and that's
you do.
fantastic. Now the Colombia fans were loud,
Mm-hmm.
especially like it has been in every tournament when the national anthem is being sung. It was like wow, I'm sure they could hear that. Miami Gardens, probably
Oh
Miami
yeah,
Springs, and they
you
could
can hear
hear
it in
it.
Kendall, bro.
They could probably hear it in Kendall, so you knew there was a lot. But
Yeah,
but those chants and was fantastic. So first the beginning minutes,
mm-hmm.
right off the bat, Argentina, the first play, they got in deep and
Yeah,
crossed it in, and there was danger there. Like very first play, it looked like 3 minutes, 4 minutes into the game after
mm-hmm.
that, Cumner started getting the ball and started touching around and started moving and create a couple of things. James made an amazing pass over the defense where the forward ran in and crossed. There were some very Colombia had more opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
but the opportunities that were created by Argentina were very, very threatening. Right? They were
Yeah,
very clear opportunities. They got the ball and they moved fast.
mm-hmm.
So but overall, the first half, in my estimation, Colombia had enough to do damage, but they just couldn't. But the Argentine, both teams created defensive blocks that were impressive. Neutralizing
Yes,
each other. But specifically, the Argentine, the center backs, it's a fantastic pairing. I
yeah,
thought that Uruguay had the toughest defense, but in this
mm-hmm.
game, and like it always happens in Argentina, everybody steps up. Everybody steps up, and
Yeah,
and
man.
they were fantastic on defense. They were fantastic. The two center backs were amazing. They sacrificed their bodies, sliding, cutting. Oh, and here we go. And
Right.
our guy Rodrigo de Paul, that a lot of people love and some don't. He was. I thought he was the key to this game. I mean, and the guy played
DePaul,
every minute. Yes, he played
man.
every minute of the game, and he played from beginning to end with a rhythm, with an intensity, with a physical demand that was just impressive. I
You
mean,
know,
all of Argentina, but
I
him
feel like
specifically.
I feel like it kind of depends how you were watching him play, because maybe you were watching him from a defensive standpoint and he was
Yeah, that's
um
where I was seeing him.
yeah. So for me watching him, I'm like, man, this guy's giving the ball away a lot. He's not making clean passes, things like that. I feel like he
He
was
had a
more
little
of a
rut. Yeah,
liability.
he had a little rut sometimes early
Yeah,
on.
I feel like he was more of a liability in that aspect. But yeah, I guess if you were watching him from a defensive standpoint, he did his thing.
Yeah, no, and towards
Yeah.
the end where he was just running people, he ran some people down from behind, and he was just running like if he was fresh, and people looked dead, and he was still running. Yeah,
Uh,
he early on he had a couple of mishaps with the ball that he's always positioned correctly, and with those two center backs and this guy right there in the middle, it's like it's you're not getting through there. You're not getting through there, and it was tough. And Colombia was the best team in the air. They scored five goals on
mhm.
headers and stuff. It wasn't happening in this game.
No, they were getting dominated in the air.
They were crossing the ball
Yeah.
over, and they were not getting to it. On the other side with Arias, which when we're talking about the defender that came in for Munoz, Daniel Munoz, who was suspended for the game, and we talked about that. Munoz's not being in this game was severely limited Colombia, defensively
Mhm.
and coming out on
Yeah.
attack because Arias at some point they just started bombing the ball from one side all the way over to his side, and he never won a header in the air. He didn't win one in the air. It was, or at least it appeared that way, right? And there was always trouble. He didn't have a good game, and he's a veteran player that you expected to have a better game.
Yeah. All right. So if you're listening to the show and not watching it, Edwin just joined us a couple of minutes ago. He hasn't said anything yet. He's wearing his Colombia hat. Edwin, did you you watched the game from the safe comforts of your home, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I bet you were pretty bummed when you found out you weren't going to be at the game, but you were probably
Well,
relieved
yeah.
when you saw what was happening.
My attitude changed as the hours went on during the day when you guys were telling me, like, bro, we're stuck outside.
Yeah,
There's chaos. There's people running and I'm sure, I don't know if you guys already talked about it to open the show, but all the
we
madness that
did.
happened
Yeah.
and whatnot. So as it was going on, I was like, wait, what? Because I was like, all right, I had some people over where, we were watching the game as, a little watch
Hmm.
party. And I'm like, why is the game hasn't started? I'm like, oh, it should start right now. And then they're like, oh, it's been delayed. I'm like, what's going on? That's weird. That's
Yeah.
suspicious. And yeah, it just got a little strange. But yeah, at the end of the night, I was definitely happy that it was that I didn't get that invite. So I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to bed
Yeah.
just fine. I don't have to worry about the madness because legit. I don't know if you guys talked about it, but as the game was going on and watching it, the broadcast side, because you guys were at it, so the broadcast
Yeah.
of it was like, oh, it's just crazy. It's like it felt like it was like the riots, like just straight up riots are happening in the stadium. And who knows? Hey, when you go online, my Twitter feed was just nothing but people posting videos. It's like the crawling through the AC ducts and jumping over
Yes.
fences and rummaging, and they shattered the escalator in the 72 club. Like,
How did they do that?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
And
Savage,
why?
it's
Like,
savage, isn't it? Again,
you know?
there's a lot of blame to go around, but 90% of it goes to CONMEBOL. They, they were like, no, we don't want the help. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna pocket more money, and this is what happens. But going back to my original point, as that was happening, I'm watching the broadcast, hearing what you guys are telling me via text of what's happening at the stadium and seeing everything. I was like, first of all, who knows? There's a picture of a dog inside the stadium. Someone got a dog into the crowd. So just think about if a dog got into the
What?
stadium.
Was it
Think of
Messi's dog?
what
That
else.
big brown dog?
No. It was like a little Shih Tzu or something, But there's
Yeah,
a
there was a
video,
lot of Shih
and then
Tzu out there. There was a lot of Shih Tzu out there.
and there's a video, and this dog's there, and it's inside the stadium already. Went through the gate, so I'm like, wait, they got that. There's people posting pictures of them with like bottles of vodka, tequila, all this type of alcohol, like full bottles. Everything from the tailgate made it into the stadium, and what else is at the
Jesus.
tailgate? You know what I mean? So I was legit worried,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
bro, somebody's gonna bring in a weapon, somebody's gonna bring
Mm.
in something bad, like, not to mention, all of a sudden there's almost like 3 people per seat in the stadium because everybody
Yeah.
just rushed in and sat wherever, and they're squatting, and I felt horrible for the people that were stuck outside that couldn't get in, that had tickets, and the whole,
Yes.
like, there's going to be
Yeah,
a
it's
huge
terrible.
aftermath for this. But going back to the moment, I was legit worried because I'm obviously going for Colombia, and I was rooting for them, and I was like, if Colombia doesn't win this game, this could get ugly. And I was thinking, like, if we saw what happened when Uruguay didn't win against Colombia, and you saw how people
Hmm.
started getting rowdy there, you imagine? Because it felt like it was at least 60-40, right? Colombians
Yeah,
over
definitely.
Argentinians
Yeah.
at the stadium. It was
Yeah, yeah.
more minions than
Yeah.
blue.
I
So
said at least 65%, but yeah, 60-40.
60-40, 70-30, something
Yeah.
like that. But it was definitely Colombia was the dominant. So I was like, well, what's gonna happen when you got all these rowdy ass people, and they just lost the game? You're gonna get that scene that happened in North Carolina,
And they're
amplified.
inebriated.
And I was inebriated, and
Hmm.
all hell is broken loose. I was like, man, this could get very ugly if the wrong team wins at the end of the game. And I was a little, just based on the behaviors of everybody, I was like, it could, whether Colombia won and Argentinian fans would have revolted or vice versa. I was like, man, I was fearing the safety of people. And I was thinking, why did they even do this game? They should have postponed it, canceled it, dual champions, whatever,
Hmm.
But you had overcrowding. I thought like a section was going to like break off and like people were going to fall. Like there was so much, like the anxiety that I was having watching it from here made me even more glad that I wasn't there. Because I'm watching the broadcast, I'm looking on
Yeah.
social media, and it's all that anxiety is being fed into me, and I'm just like, oh my
Bro,
god, oh my god, I don't know.
I had so much friends and family texting me, like wondering if I'm okay. Like that's how bad it was. know?
Yeah. Yeah, the little Facebook
crazy
thing I sent you guys. Mark safe from Hard Rock Stadium today.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was really really scary, and I was worried for you guys going into it. So, but again, I was happy that at the end of the night, I was happy that you guys made it out safe, and I was happy that I didn't go. I don't feel so bad. I think it's an unfortunate black eye, and the majority of people. There's a lot of people fighting what happened, saying like putting the right blame on the right people, and then there's the public opinion, which is Miami can host a game. United States can host the World Cup, which is unfortunate because it's far from that. You know, we do Formula One here, we do
like
Super
I
Bowl,
tweeted.
I
tweeted my first tweet of the day was that a source told me CONMEBOL refused the help of the Dolphins and of CONCACAF. So this is 100% on them.
Oh, 150%. And I'm starting to see more people. Taylor Twellman was on Rich Eisen today, and he was talking about it, and he was like putting the blame where it needed to go, and he was saying, look, this isn't Miami, this isn't USA, this is strictly CONMEBOL trying to pocket and make more money, and
of course
it's an unfortunate thing, and I can only, again, glad you guys made it out there. As far as the game goes, man.
Did you have any uninvited guests? Any uninvited? Any people you didn't invite try to get through your window? Did anybody break through your door to try to watch the game at your house?
Some lizards. I had some lizards trying to get in the backyard.
Nobody tried to get in through the AC ducts in your house, right?
No.
There was incidents. There was incidents all over also. Okay.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can only imagine the chaos that was going on there, and it really was a very unfortunate black eye on the whole tournament. But to be fair, we said it when Xavi and I went to the first game where it was Uruguay-Panama. I said, this is a shit show. This isn't right. They need to, and I was like, they got one more chance to figure it out before the final. And it just got progressively worse and worse. So yesterday, you just had the culmination of everything, and it's just an unbelievable disaster. So. But as far as the game on the pitch, though, you guys were talking about DePaul. Did you see Homeboy's evolution of Beckham tribute haircuts that he had throughout the tournament? Did you see that?
That's true. Yeah.
He had the cornrows. Then he had the headband one where he let the hair down and it was all loose for another game. And then yesterday he showed up with the shaved, bleached head. Those are all three haircuts that Beckham had. So I thought that was pretty funny. I thought he played great. I do feel bad. I felt like Colombia, and Xavi, you correct me if I'm wrong, I felt like Colombia outplayed Argentina. I felt like Colombia should have won that game. Oh yeah, they were the better team, more creative, more.
The stats say all that, but I thought that the first half clearly. The second half, I thought Argentina had. It felt like Argentina had control, and at any moment there were several times, Colombia made mistakes and Argentina weren't able to finish. So I think it was fairly. It was the game ended how it needed to end. One goal, whoever got it in was going to win that game. I thought it was fairly even. But I think at the end, Argentina showed their class, and they showed they were that mental and emotional needed to win something like that. Right? This was as intense. This was as intense as a World Cup. To me, I left the game upset because Colombia lost, but I said, man, they're this close. They're this close to the world champions. They're that close to the world champions. They're that close to a team that's sending that's an era, and a team of an era that like a golden era right now for Argentina. This is one of
a dynasty team.
In their history, in their rich history. This is perhaps the best team, and Colombia was right there, and they just couldn't do it. So it says something positive, but they need to build on that, and then they need to win. I had said before the game that they needed to finish and win this game to write a new chapter in the history of Colombia. Because if Colombia would have won this game, people would be talking amazing, like awesome things about the team right now. Now, it's like, okay, they did good, and other people are saying, hey, we lost like we always do. So that lingers, and that's going to linger. So
I feel, I don't know, I agree, but I'm going to apply your logic to Argentina, not to Colombia. I feel like Argentina needed this to cement that dynasty. That, you know, two Copa Americas, a World Cup, this whole run, because it's essentially been the same group of players. You know, Finalissimo. You had all that whole run that they've had. They also did it without Messi, essentially, the second half. You know, you really saw them kind of play.
They got better.
Pick it up. They got better. They got a little better. You saw the depth in their team. They didn't even play some big stars.
That's the big difference.
Yeah,
but that's
because as soon as both teams made changes, you saw the switch.
There was a notice. It was noticeable. It was noticeable.
Yeah.
The midfielders for Colombia who came in could not keep the rhythm, could not keep the pace, could not keep the control of the game.
I don't know. I don't want to say could not keep up the rhythm and could not keep up the pace. To me, it's more like they just they weren't. They were able to continue what they were doing.
For like 10 minutes.
Easier for Argentina. It was just easier for Argentina because of their depth, their quality of their depth. Because I don't want to dismiss. Colombia had essentially, you know, good depth and good guys that could come off the bench and keep it going.
Name players.
But Argentina has like a whole B team that they could have rolled out. You know what I mean? Like they literally have an entire, like when you have Lautaro, who's one of the best goal scorers in Italy, who's having an incredible tournament. He was going to be the Golden Boot scorer, and he's coming off the bench, you know, and you have him just lurking there. And all that guy's done is the opposite of Darwin Nunez, you know, which is every opportunity that he gets, he turns it into a goal. Where Darwin Nunez had probably like 100 shots on goal in this tournament and, you know, barely put in those first 2 goals in that first game, and that was it. It just, Lautaro is just automatic. And when he came in, I was like, bro, it just felt like Colombia had put so much gas in the whole game. And then it didn't turn into, like if they had turned into goals, you could have seen them build off of that, but it didn't. And then when this guy came in, it was just like, bro, pick your poison. He's just waiting. He's just waiting for his opportunity. And he got the one chance, and that's all they needed.
And how did they get it? In a great slide, I think it was Paredes, slide tackle, where he stops Cataño going, and then the turnover, they quickly move it out, and Cataño kind of jogs back, you know, and he had just gone into the match. So that one play showed everything, the difference, right? Because I'm pretty sure if it would have been the other way around, the Argentine player would have done whatever he needed to do to get back into the play because he lost that ball. You know, Cataño's a young player, a young good player, but that one mistake, starting from there, and then the center back, which was way off to you know, Colombia's defensive left, he left that hole where he came in. Lautaro got the perfect pass from the Celso, got it, and was able to go in. And then you see on social media, if you want, people saying Cuesta, which is the center back, the defender, who's super fast, was able to kind of catch up. He should have chopped them down. Red card, but he should have chopped him. You know, and they were saying like if some kid, some streamer, if he's from Uruguay, it's like, you know, and it goes back to the Valverde in the Champions, you know, where he took out and Real Madrid ended up winning. It's a play that Colombia is again not used to doing, but it's a moment where it's you're playing for all the marbles, and this guy cannot make it. This guy cannot, because it was going to be a goal. He's going in by himself. There's no one stopping him. He had to chop him down. He had to
chop him down.
Take him out, do something like that. But what can I tell you? I mean, hopefully it's a learning that they've been learning for I don't know how many decades now. So at some point they got to figure it out.
You got 2 short years, bro.
Fair, man. But to be fair, this Colombia squad, man, what James did to it to reinvigorate it, fantastic. Argentina won the tournament. That's fine. But everybody who watched the tournament says Colombia was the best team. You know, they had the best tournament. They didn't have the best final, but they had the best tournament. Argentina capped off a legit dynasty. It's going to continue because, like we said, they have a B team that's incredible, and their guys are going to step up. The 2 guys, the guy who set up the assist and the guy who scored the goal, came off the bench. And Lo Celso and
the 3 guys that touched the ball on that play all came off the bench.
Off the bench. Colombia is in a point now where hopefully this was the groundwork. This was the groundwork for that next level that they're going to build off of, because a lot of those guys, man, those guys are super talented. They have a lot of upside. You know who really impressed me? That Mojica kid, bro. He played the whole game. And
He's not a
had
kid though. He's not
incredible
a kid. He's up there too.
Probably, yeah. He
The two
has young
those
face,
are the things. Yeah, he has a young face. Yeah, but he's up there.
He's got young face. Like Xavi looks like he's 28, and Xavi's like 67. But
51.
But but Mojica played great. There was a story I saw about what's this Rios kid, the one with the
no, it's amazing.
hair.
Yeah, Richard really comes from the streets, from the Rio. Yeah.
No, but you know where he played? Yeah. Gus, do you know the story? Did you know
Richard Rios? He started off like third division in Colombia, and then
he played futsal.
No, he plays futsal. That's how he is. He never played
he got
the national team.
No. He got discovered by the scout in one of those futsal tournaments, and then they invite him. And actually, the scouts, the young guys that scouted him and called him over, he was their first client, their first real signing.
Wow.
So and they've grown from there. No, there's a lot of great stories. The redemption of James, and he's still 33, a young 33, because there's not a lot of wear and tear on his legs from the last 3 or 4 years.
And he'll be 35.
And he will be, and he can come in and do 30 minutes, I think, and show all that class. But my thing, there's a few young guys that didn't see the pitch, didn't smell the pitch. So, and I hope that now in this process, because like I was saying, the coach said we played, a team that it's an era, and in the last 3 years have won it all, have done everything. This is just the beginning for us. It's basically, like he's saying, this is the beginning. If this is the beginning, then I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm hyped up, and I'm expecting bigger things. But I'm also wanting new names to step up, because Colombia tends to rely just on the veterans a lot of times. I want to see some new names, especially forward, because I love Luis Diaz. He didn't have the greatest tournament, and I thought he played too much hero ball at times. I thought he played hero ball. He played. If you're going like, if we're talking about what is that called, rhythmic gymnastics, or in the pool where you're going for aesthetics, it was wonderful. But fundamental and get the shit done, it wasn't there. And then I don't think they have a number 9. Cordoba was another pleasant surprise. He's 31, so he's not a baby, but he can make it 3-3.
Yeah,
no problem. But they need to find other stuff. So they have a 20-year-old Duran that plays, is in Aston Villa. I don't know if they sold him or not. He didn't really sniff the field. I want to see some of these guys now in friendlies and in qualifiers. They play Argentina again in September in Barranquilla for World Cup qualifiers. So I want to see from this point today to September, what did the team learn? What is it going to improve on? How are they going to get stronger, and how are they going to beat Argentina? Because they need to get over that hump, and it's a huge, it's a mountain. It's a mountain. It's a mountain because you're talking about the world champions, and the world champions seem to be getting better, because, like you said, there's a bunch of young kids coming up too that are just high class.
Well, in September, Argentina will most likely be without Messi because of that ankle injury, and Di Maria just retired, so it's gonna be a little different looking Argentina squad. And as far as their era run, I don't see them beating Spain in the Finalissima.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
I gotta disagree. I'm not gonna say I don't see them beating Spain, and I'm not gonna say that I do see them beating Spain, but I definitely there's
a chance.
Xavi said something where Colombia was playing to that level of Argentina, and that they were in the same thing. And Argentina is the number 1 ranked team. I saw the difference between these two teams yesterday being just a couple of elements, Yeah. And I think that the difference between these two teams and any of the teams that we saw at the Euro is the same. I don't think that there's a thing. Now, if we're talking about the other teams, Uruguay, which was the third place team, they had a fantastic tournament, but I was really not impressed with Darwin Nunez. I thought he really struggled. Like he got his couple of goals in that first game, but for a guy with that hype, that physique, that skill set, everything, it just way too many chances that he missed, and that's what stands out. And the rest of the teams in this tournament, Brazil doesn't look like, although they played Colombia hard, but that's just like Bills, that's just like Dolphins, Patriots. It doesn't matter, when it is, it's always a competitive game. So the rest of the teams that we saw in Copa America, I felt like there was a big gap. I felt like it was Argentina, Colombia, then there was a big space between everybody else. And I think in that space there is where you would put any team in Europe that was at Euro. I really feel like it was a lot closer. I think Colombia right now, if this tournament kept going, they could hang with any of the teams that at the Euro, and Argentina could beat any of those teams too.
It was just friendlies. It was just friendlies, but Colombia took out Spain in that 27-game run, and they took out Germany in convincing fashion. Two of the best teams in that tournament, even though it was a friendly, but it's not really ever a friendly. You know, like I said once, I think on the show, I have a friend who says that there's no such thing as a friendly game, just it's unofficial. You know, it's not an official game, but it's not friendly because it was in Europe. So Colombia went over there and beat them over there away
in their homeland.
Yes. So
that's true.
And now you're talking about Argentina, and Argentina always finds a way to compete. So that they definitely have an opportunity and a chance for against Spain, against anybody, and the confidence that's
this
building,
new Argentina.
Yes, this is different. The confidence is building. There's young guys and like Enzo Perez didn't play, right? I mean, Enzo didn't really like do much this tournament, and he was like a revelation for Argentina. So and like that, Garnacho didn't sniff the field, right?
No.
And there's several other big Lo Celso came in the game, but like these are guys that are starters and high quality players in Europe. Paredes, has had a great, amazing career, and they're on the bench for Argentina, and they have young guys coming up. So they're just reloading. They're just reloading, and you have to respect the world champs. They have to. If they're not the favorites, they're not any less. It's even money against anybody.
So this kid that plays at in Atlanta, he didn't get called up, huh?
Almada was he there? I don't know. I don't know. I could have sworn I saw him at the ceremony. I could have sworn check the roster. I could have sworn I saw him.
No, he's not on it. He's not on the roster.
Right. So he didn't get called. Okay. So I don't know who I confused. But
he looks like Julian Alvarez.
No, Alvarez has a little bit lighter hair, and I could have sworn I thought it was Almada because the guy had like a tat here.
The Pibes look like.
Because he's playing the Olympic team. That's what it is. He's an amazing player coming up. Another offensive player. So it's just, to me, it was weird to, and I think I told you when we were watching. It was at the end of while we're watching the game. I said, look, Messi came on and they got better. It's like terrible for me to say that, but I think that it would have been in Colombia's favor if Messi would have stayed the whole 90 minutes instead of coming out. I think it would have been in Colombia's favor.
What's up, sir?
Question. Did we see? Was yesterday the last time we'll see Messi in an Argentina shirt?
No.
In an actual game? You think he's gonna keep playing?
I think he'll come back.
Because you just said something. You said the team got better, and I think it was very evident to a lot of people. He only had one goal in the tournament, and it was a little deflection goal. He was a factor, but not the factor.
No, he's the king. He's the king. He's the king. He's royalty. Even if the king has no clothes, he's still the king. And they're not going to do that to him. He's gonna be.
I'm not saying that they'll do it to him.
Right, but he's gonna go. But he's gonna go. He's gonna go on his terms. Not this game, because this was the Maria standoff, and he's not gonna tarnish that. This is the Maria standoff, and then he's gonna have his moment.
I think he'll do Finalissima, and he'll make a decision after that. If in Finalissima he looks bad, and he's not able to keep up, then he'll probably retire.
The health, his health, he needs to.
That's true.
I hope he does it, at some point soon, so we can have him at least another year and a half, 2 years in Miami. Because here at this pace, he could still, do his thing, and everybody's still gonna see him, and that, that's selfish. That's selfish. But I hope it works out that way. But definitely, he's gonna continue, and he's gonna continue until that moment where it's the right time to send him off. Like the king that he is.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited.
Yeah. I just want somewhere, to know that somewhere in Colombia, some kid, 14, 15. I don't know. Somewhere along the way, this guy is, or maybe he's 17 now, so he can be 19. Somewhere, or he's on the roster now. This kid is going to be the next great forward for Colombia, and a forward that scores. That when was that? Who do we think of after Falcao? Right after his generation where he got hurt. Who sticks in your mind as this great forward? Because you remember Falcao, and for a very brief moment in time, he was the best 9 in the world, even with Suarez, everybody included. For a brief moment in time, until he got hurt.
No. Hold on. We gotta give him his due. Not a brief moment in time. There was a nice window of like 3 to 4 years there, maybe 5 years, where he wasn't. I don't count Porto.
I don't count the Portugal
not
years.
Not the best 9 in the world. I'm telling you, not the best 9 in the world, but one of the. He was up there with.
He went to Balón de Oro
with Ronaldo, and he was playing in the same league as them.
His numbers,
and he was playing for
on the table.
Team.
He was sitting on the table. No, absolutely. I agree with you with that because his stats say that. In that moment, that time, his stats say that, and his ability, the way he played and the big moment goals that he scored. So and we don't we haven't had that. And Argentina gets one, and then they get 2, which is unfair. And then they had Maradona, and then they have Messi. That's not fair.
Well, we'll see. Maybe somebody to be Balogun has one more transfer left.
I need Messi. I need Messi to do another one of those picture, photo shoots with one of the babies, and
that's gonna take too long, bro. That's gonna take too long. You need him to do it with like a teenager.
Yeah, I'll be super. He needs to baptize a teenager then. Do something.
I'm down for that.
All right, we got less than 10 minutes left. Real quick, before we get into the MLS top 10 rankings, let's talk about the Euro Cup. All right.
So I don't think we're gonna have enough time to squeeze all this in.
Just squeeze in a little bit of Euro Cup, bro. You wanna just skip Euro Cup, go straight to MLS?
I can give you the summary.
Go ahead. England give us 1 minute.
England's like the Cowboys, bro. England's like the Cowboys. They're overrated. They've never won anything.
Bro, don't compare them to the Cowboys. They're the Bills.
Yeah, well, they have one, though. They have that one cup. They have the one cup, but unfortunately,
that is true.
And it's weird because when you think of soccer and you think of the game, you think of Premier League and you think of all this stuff. And you think of these great. You think it'd be such a hotbed, but they just they cannot put it together. They
have the European bridesmaid. They have the European Berhalter.
No.
They're not getting rid of them.
We would take.
Not getting rid of them.
No. Look, Southgate. I maybe the English fans will hate him, but I'm not going to hate on him. I'm not an English fan here, but I'm not going to hate on him. Because the guy took him to 2 Euro finals. He's taken him to the semifinals of the World Cup. We can't even. We're Berhalter is like struggling to get out of group stage. I'm not even going to do that to the guy. It's not a fair comparison.
He's done better than past England managers.
We won everything in CONCACAF.
Yeah,
we won it all.
He's probably the best. Southgate is probably the best coach England has ever had. That just tells you how much of a disappointment their program is. Yeah, dude, they've never won anything. Because they've had all these great golden generation of players and they've had all these great stars. And right now, their team on paper is probably better than any team they've ever had, to be honest. You think more of the Premier League than you think of great English players, And it's just, they're not as good as advertised. And when you look at that Spanish team, the 4th Euro Cup, they have a World Cup in recent memory. They have a bevy of talent that's young. They have so much stuff there. Like they're resource rich. And Spain, I thought it was going to be probably like 3-0. I thought it was going to be 3-1, 3-0 game. I was surprised that England put up a fight. It could have been. But at the end, I think the better team won, and I just think England, they're really hyped up, and they're. You know what Harry Kane is to his career in the Premier League? That's what England is at the same time, just trophyless, bro. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's
England and Harry Kane, same person.
Same person,
wow.
Same thing.
Same person. Shout out to Spain.
So there's a league here in the U.S., right? There's a league, and those people are playing.
I was going for the Dutch, by the way. So I was going for the Dutch.
There? Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Here we go.
So we got our. What?
We got our top 10 Lemon City Live MLS power rankings here. put together by one Larry Fresh.
Edwin,
yeah, bro.
Since
You
put this list together, why don't you talk us through it real quick?
Real quick, so this week was the first time in a while that we've had a major shakeup. Every team moved a place except two. Inter Miami stayed at 2 from last week, and Colorado stayed at 10. Every other team, there was a shift. This is the most movement we've had in one particular week here. Now, lost in the whole Euros and Copa hoopla that was going on this weekend was a very exciting match day for MLS. There was a lot of good games, including a rematch of the final that was played in LAFC, where two of the hottest teams, which was Columbus traveling to LA hosting. LA hadn't lost a game since May 4th, bro. Just think about the numbers on that, okay? Hadn't lost in a long, long time. The Crew have been playing great. They had one loss in recent memory here. I can't remember the thing, and it was against a shorthanded Miami team here. That was the only blemish on their record. And all of a sudden, they're matching there. And as bad as it was last week for when Cincinnati took it to Miami and beat us, what was the final score? 6-1 in that game? That was in Cincinnati. It was the final score here was 5-1. LAFC loses at home. They just got, and it was 4-0 before LAFC scored a goal. Okay, in the Miami game it was 1-1. You know, they were trying. Then they just lost it. These people were never in it. LAFC, the Crew right now looks and is playing like the best team in the league. Easy. LAFC, you know, take away this bad game that they had. They're still, you know, the top of the West right now too. And the thing is, it's so loaded right now. In the West, you have a 3-way tie. You have LAFC, Real Salt Lake, and LA Galaxy, who's kind of they've lost 2 of the last 3. They're kind of struggling, but they're all tied for first in the West. Cincinnati, like this is such a top-heavy list. Like those 5 teams there on the top 5 are all like in a class of their own. And then like the bottom 5 teams on our list there with Portland, Seattle, Red Bulls, Galaxy, and Colorado, they're kind of figuring it out, and they're going in there. LA Galaxy, I had them up there higher, but their recent run of form, even though they're in first place, they're just they got beaten at Tráfico. They won against Minnesota, then lost again this week. It's just a little hungover from the beatdown. But I think the top 10 is a solid. I penalized LAFC. I had them at number 1. I had to penalize them to number 3, just like I penalized Inter Miami for losing the week before from number 1. But the Crew made the biggest jump. They were 5 in our rankings. They made it all the way up to 1 this week. So wow. I think
they had style points and they really impressed you.
Yeah,
you gave them a 10.
Wow. I am telling you, man. They checked every box there. They checked every box this week. They played like champions.
There's a team there at number 6, Portland. I remember like a month or so, a little bit more. Some people gave me some pushback when I want to find that video and I want to have a little snippet of that, of the backlash that I got when I said
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
When I told him that my guy Phil Neville and the boys, you know, they're going through trouble, but they got a solid team.
I don't know. And Xavi, I think you're having some connection issues. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Oh man,
where'd he go? I can't hear him.
All right, so if you want to read more about what Edwin is talking about, how he put this list together, I put the link in the chat there. So go ahead and just click on it. It's a short read. It's good stuff. Edwin's doing a good work with that top 10 rankings. Also,
the best rankings. I don't even MLS themselves don't have rankings like we do, man.
They're copying mine.
They need to start doing that. They need to start copying the rankings. Even Fox and any of these big, none of them have had the rankings the way we had them, and we've been on point.
We've been doing it all season.
Yeah.
Yep, and shout out to Edwin mentioning Orlando City there. They're about to pop in if some of the bottom teams start sucking. So we'll see. We'll see if they're able to get back into the top 10 list. All right, so we got less than a minute left, boys. Any final thoughts?
Yes, Orlando City, you mentioned it, 4 wins in their last 5 games. They are in the playoffs after being in last place in the East. They're at 7th right now. Watch out for them. They're clicking. Facu had a good game, so I think Orlando's going to make a little run here. They got a lot of ground to make up, but they got time.
Sounds good.
Xavi?
Now we got to put our MLS glasses.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, sir? What?
Oh, no, you know what? Let's just wrap it up here. Let's just give him a round of applause for the star goalkeeper of the Media Cup here.
Oh,
the one and only
terrible.
Xavi.
How can I be your star goalkeeper? It's grade 6 on my ass. We're up.
You know what? You were there and everybody else wasn't. You're the man.
That's
Congratulations. True. You deserve all the flowers, bro.
Oh, great.
They got all the swag.
Thank you for making it happen, bro.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a good night, everybody.
Adios.